It's your boy Czar, all rights reserved. Now, as we spoke about the mentalities, the people around him, the type of things they were involved in, and just the motivation that led him to where he wanted to be, ultimately, let's start asking some very critical questions. Let's start asking. Now, one of the things I wanted to address, first off, dealing with the situation, and this is another commenter recognition. What we're talking about is, were those guns real when those men jumped out of the car? Is there any implication that those guns were not prop guns? As I said before, we did not see any type of discharge let off. I have another commenter who said they did press the trigger and shoot a few times, but it was shooting blanks. Is this true? Is there any knowledge or anything relevant to this being a factor? Now, what we know about one of the suspects have asked for a private investigator, and we know the rest to some extent have lawyers. But we also know that one of the men did not receive the information that he had asked for in the very beginning. Why would this not be? Why would they wait so long, and how did they do it out of period? Does that blow trial because they did it out of sequence to a period of time? Is his lawyer going to seek to see if this was the case? You see, because if he didn't receive information in the right time, that's when now he has justification to go further and say they are trying to do this to me and do that to me. If he's alleging that he's being set up, if he's alleging that there's a situation that's putting him in a bad position purposely by investigators' techniques, is it possible that he can get past this trial? You see, all we've been focusing on is the four men. That's why I brought you the witnesses. That's why I brought up their names. That's why now we actually have a witness that's going to be in court. But here's my thing. And I said what I said previously to say this. Is this witness credible? We already seen one come out on social media and start speaking about the fact that he's seen everything, he's done everything. Now about recently, this same witness has declared he was not there. How credible is the witness that they have on paper? How credible are you going to be in court? Are they actually going to make you sit there, and are you actually going to tell the truth? Or are you going to get up there and just try to justify the story investigators are telling because we seen you walking around in a red hoodie with investigators? Were they prepping you? Are they taking time to have you there so they can teach you what to say? Because everyone I seen came out and said they seen it, never was arrested. But this one man walking around with investigators after the murder, claiming he witnessed it, near the crime scene with investigators in photos that we have seen and that we have. How is this possible? Why was this witness not taken to the precinct to sit in, write his story, and go over it and over it? Yet we see that he was placed in a situation where he was allowed to be free, walk around while you were collecting evidence. Was this to help him develop his story? Or was this to comfort him in a time of need? What fear did he really feel in this type of situation? What was really the give and take for this witness? What is this witness's credibility level, having seen these people who talked about it so much, saying they know so much? Now they're quiet and they're backing off. Not only that, they're not even listed on the affidavits as they should be. They're not even included to give their visual of what actually happened. They're not even being demanded to tell some type of truth. I am the only one to date who has made these guys speak up to some extent. And their response, to send people to ask me not to speak about their friends when it wasn't. To send people to ask me, what do I know? I told you to some extent, and it was truthful. To send people to cover for them, to get in comments and attack CommenterNation because they didn't want to be held responsible to some extent. They felt I was some crazy guy. Well, how crazy is this? This guy gets up there, says everything's credible about the investigation, says everything's true, everything's real about it. But in your mind, you know that they're telling a lie, and you know that something else happened. How real are you? What judgment of the situation do you gain for what you're doing to cover up something? What do you gain? because now I caught so many lies. And because I'm not quote unquote the law, you can get away with lying on how stuff happens. What I want people to see with this piece right now is to understand how privileged some people can be in situations dealing with this type of matter. Listen, it's one thing if you get, let's say, a bypass on a situation you're dealing with. But when this has to do with another human being's life, how do you get a pass on it? How do you get a pass for saying, I don't know anything, but you know everything? Where does this pass come from? Who dictates that you're able to walk past this man and say, oh, this was my friend, oh, this guy was great, knowing in the back of your head, you watch someone else do this crime and walk away with it? How do you really get the support? How do you get the respect? What level of allowance are you being given in this situation? Why are we not bringing these people to the forefront every day? And I know investigators have seen them. I know they've seen the social media posts. Why are they sitting back and saying nothing about it? Why are you sitting back not trying to pick these people up, dodging them, acting like nothing ever happened? Got one of them saying, oh, I'm on a PGA tour. Why is this, let's say, pseudo witness, Akuno witness? That's what I call them. That is Japanese for evil. This is an evil witness because ultimately you're willing to see someone lose their life as long as it's not you. That's my problem. That's where we don't see eye to eye. If you can sit there and you can competently look at the situation and say, something heinous happened to this man, something wrong happened to his life, but I know what happened, but I'm going to stay quiet because I don't want to get involved. Yet you would gladly get involved if your own family was laid down. How real does that make you as a person? Do you have no respect for this other man's family? And I don't believe this witness who hasn't told the truth is receiving threats. I have a lot of evidence to show that. Not only do I not think you're receiving threats, I find some very troubling connections. Now, I'm still contemplating getting into that because I got to see one more thing and reread it that you said. And here's my thing. You stopped talking, which was good, because the more you talk, the more it led me to these type of conclusions. The more you said, the things you did right after led me to believe some things. You know, you needed to comfort yourself after someone else's family just lost out, but you had no heart to go to that family and apologize for it, or at least tell them what you seen. So you were the confidant and answer for everything that occurred. You were the one who decided whether it was bad enough for them to be respected. You were the one who decided whether it was worth speaking about, but you didn't even ask them, was it credible for you to post a social media post with this man's dead body? You didn't even ask them, was it right for you to stand in the limelight and take all the credit for having been the last one taking a photo, but you had no issue with bypassing all that for your clout on social media, posting it while his family suffered? Did you wonder what they would think of seeing their son, cousin, a nephew, brother's dead body on social media while everyone gawked at it? You didn't care. And that's exactly why I didn't care about bringing you out. And that's exactly the type of mentality I'm taking and I'm building to decide whether or not to say what it is that I think would give people clarity to why you did what you did, or why you want nothing to say with it, because I have a deeper motive. Off of everything I'm reading, I have different information, like the connection of last names to, like I said, to someone he actually knew, like different things that really show a trend. Remember I asked you guys, did you know what Pin Hero meant? Pin Hero is the connecting name through marriage that actually links him in association to someone who was allegedly in Tentacion's life. Yes, in his life, part of his life, to the point where they had interaction. Now, the only thought behind it is because I really want her to be respected, because I don't believe she had anything to do with this. Matter of fact, I could even say maybe you wanted to blame him for something he didn't do or did, if you have evidence to show. But all I know is there's a connection with evidence. But I don't see anything that there is to show that he may have been involved. There are people who speculated it, who said it. But why is a lot of people who don't know him allegedly coming out saying RIP him and all this stuff immediately after it happens? You all told me you didn't know him. How are you all jumping and coming to his rescue and speaking out before his family spoke in a trend to build your names like you really cared, when you can't even care enough to get up and speak about what you saw? That is the confusing part, and that is why I call you disingenuous. If you never heard of disingenuous, you seem very disingenuous with it. Now, this is just the intro for the different stuff I'm going to mention, so people don't think I'm just saying this to say it, or they don't think I'm saying it to be spiteful. No, I'm saying it because of the type of actions, mentalities, posts, persona. How are you even able to laugh at saying something gross on live or talking like an idiot on live unless something's not really true? Something's not really true. If that was the case, now you really know I'm understanding it. And I'm being as general as I can before we get to specifics, because it's not going to involve everyone in the big picture of what I'm looking at, but it is going to hit on some points that involve someone. So if we know this to be the truth, tell me this, riddle me this.